NBA Top Shot is where the NBA's biggest fans buy, sell, and earn officially licensed video collectibles. Rip packs or purchase individual limited edition moments from the marketplace to build your ultimate collection. From rookies to legends, now you can flex your fandom by owning the greatest moments from your favorite players and teams. Your collection can even earn you once-in-a-lifetime money-can't-buy experiences. NBA Top Shot users have already attended private events with superstars like Klay Thompson and rising stars like Cade Cunningham, and even all-time greats like Magic Johnson. Your entire collection of NBA Top Shot moments never lose quality and are accessible on any device. Rep your team, flex your fandom, and own the greatest moments from the NBA exclusively on NBA Top Shot. Sign up today at NBATopShot.com and kickstart your collection with your first pack.
Oh yeah, another hour, another classic. Welcome to the No Dunks NBA Reddit podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, January 18th, 2022. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory with all the boys. Tass Mellis, Trey Kirby, and over yonder, super producer JD. Before we get into some of our favorite NBA Reddit threads, a little housekeeping. Shout out to the stream team joining us live on YouTube. We love to see it. Comment away. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Get your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. That'll take you right there to get all your hoodies and your mugs and your shirts and whatever else we have in our store. Send in your questions and comments to nodunks@theathletic.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at NoDunksInc. And finally, big news here. This was different this morning on our daily show. Tickets weren't available yet, but they are now for our live show in Salt Lake City over NBA All-Star Weekend. Available to purchase. Straight up general admission tickets? Or are you feeling VIP worthy? A little meet and greet with the boys, those are available. I think there's like some booths too that you can get together with some of your friends and buy tickets for.
You gotta be a triple B. Big baller booth.
Ooh.
Person.
I struggled to say booths. To say it
booths.
Yeah, because it's to pluralize booth is
hard, yeah.
not easy.
Booths.
Right?
Oh, that's a weird
Booths.
word. THS. That's off weird on the tongue.
We're looking for a couple booths tonight.
Booths.
Friday, February 17th at 8 p.m. at the Urban Lounge in Salt Lake City. Come join us for our first live show in a very long time. We said it earlier this week. Haven't done one since Chicago 2020 All-Star Weekend. So 3 years running. And since we last stepped on stage, I hope we're not rusty. I hope we still know how to play the bass and get on the drums. Like, we're actually just performing. It's not an NBA podcast. We just play some of our favorite songs.
Jazz standards.
Yes.
Like Take 5 by the Dave Brubeck Quartet.
What about Roy Dunk?
The king of the tuk-tuk sound? Yeah.
You know we'll play a little Roy Dunk. Anyway, the link to grab tickets for that live show in the description below this very video and podcast. But let's get into some of our favorite recent, I guess, NBA threads. How recent are these?
I just want jazz music. I just want to hear Trey just sing some jazz music. I'm actually happy the Utah Jazz kept their name for this very reason.
Yes.
We're going to Salt Lake City. Who would have thunk it? Doing a live show in Salt Lake City. What'd you think back 17 years to the day that we started this show that we'd be doing a show in Salt Lake City?
No.
Or anywhere,
not.
really. But anyway.
When was the last time they were in Salt Lake City? I guess it was longer than 17 years. Is it 30 years? It might be the 30th anniversary.
All-Star?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a long time.
We should find out.
Yeah.
Could be part of
One
our
of us will find
performance.
out while you get us into it.
All right, let's get to some great Reddit threads. And we'll start with a blockbuster of a thread where Zandrick Ellison asked, will the Hawks and Wolves make a similar trade to last year's Kings and Pacers deal? So trading a point of strength essentially for a point of weakness because Indy had the bigs, if you remember, Turner and Sabonis. So we're going to break them up because we need some guards. They called up the Kings and they had a lot of smalls, and Fox and Halliburton, they needed bigs. They made a deal.
All right.
So the thinking here from Zandrick Ellison is Towns and Russell They've been going, excuse me, I said Russell. Russell
Towns
could
and
be a
Gobert.
part of it.
Yeah.
Russell could be a part of it. Towns and Gobert for Trey and Collins. Some configuration of those 4 guys, those 4 bodies. Now, I will say before we get to it, because I've seen a lot of trade proposals on the fake Instagram streets, Karl Anthony Towns being moved for a guy like Trae Young is not possible. Karl Anthony Towns cannot be traded before the trade deadline.
Right.
He cannot be traded before the trade deadline. Our friend David Grisham sent a screenshot of something he saw. I think the trade was Towns and Russell. That's where I got the Russell from, for Trae and John Collins. Again, can't be done. But Gobert and Russell for Trae and Collins can. Anyway, so I'm throwing that out there to start. Do you think the Wolves and Hawks will be talking about a big, small deal over these next 3 weeks, Trey?
Not particularly these deals. I don't think the Hawks are in the trading Trae Young business quite yet. Still a bankable superstar.
DeJounte Murray?
DeJounte Murray, I would say, is more likely than Trae Young. But if you're comparing this to Sacramento versus and Indiana last year, that was a promising young player in Tyrese Halliburton for an all-star, best player on the team, and Domantas Sabonis. And since Trae Young feels like a mainstay here in Atlanta, I don't think that trade is there. But you're right, Minnesota has a point guard to trade. Atlanta has a lot of point guards. Atlanta has a big man to trade. Timberwolves have a lot of big men. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily think there is a trade here unless these teams want to do over, like on the DeJounte Murray thing, because then you could do DeJounte Murray and John Collins for Karl Anthony Towns. In the summer, I think the Hawks are probably the ones sending the picks in that scenario since Towns is locked up on a long deal here. Hawks don't have a ton of picks to send, so that seems unlikely. The other one that maybe works is D'Angelo Russell, Jaden McDaniels, some salaries and a pick for John Collins and DeAndre Hunter. I don't know if that's really interesting. The Hawks get a wing in McDaniels, which would help. They get off Collins and Hunter's longer deals once Russell becomes a free agent in the summer. But both teams feel like they could use a shakeup, and both teams feel like they probably regret what they did in the previous offseason. I just don't necessarily know that they make perfect partners right now.
Yeah, I get the reasoning here.
Right.
Like, the hope is, hey, these two teams could replicate what the Pacers and Kings did, of course, with that Halliburton for Sabonis trade last year. And it wasn't like, just to remind everyone, that wasn't a straight-up one-for-one trade. Other pieces were involved. That was Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Tristan Thompson to Indiana for Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, and a 27 second-round pick. Obviously, the key pieces are Halliburton and Sabonis. But, yeah, the Wolves have 2 very expensive bigs. It's not really working. The Hawks have 2, borderline or soon-to-be, I guess, very expensive guards. Not really working. Could we just swap 1 for 1 here? You give us Gobert if we're the Atlanta Hawks, and then, the Minnesota Timberwolves get a DeJounte Murray or a Trae Young, obviously, in this situation. I don't think that's going to happen. But Hunter and Collins as pieces for Gobert would be intriguing. But Gobert's trade value has sort of plummeted here. I think this is the real issue.
I think that's the biggest difference between the Kings and the Pacers.
Yeah.
All parties involved. Sabonis and Halliburton's trade value is a lot higher. It wasn't at their lows, which it feels like. Even Gobert, even close. Towns, who's not tradable until the summer, pretty low trade value. And compared to his previous 6 years in the league, I think it's at its lowest, really. And it would garner you back some decent parts. I think the trades that we're getting into here, talking about the sort of the secondary parts. The secondary parts for Karl Anthony Towns from the Hawks, maybe. And probably Collins leading that package. Collins and a Hunter. And, I would say Collins, Hunter, Capella. 2 of those 3 for Karl Anthony Towns. As the OP, I like saying that. The original posters Andrew Callison put a little bit later down in the thread could work, maybe. It would work. But I don't know if the Wolves would do it. First of all, they're not.
Well,
no one's.
If
no
I'm
one's
the
breaking
Atlanta
up either.
Hawks, I'm doing that instantaneously.
Yeah.
If that were to come up in a summer deal,
Right.
but not as much from the Wolves side of things.
No, I agree. I don't think either team is swapping their smalls or their bigs. In the Hawks situation, their smalls, or the Wolves, their bigs right now. I just don't see it happening. They're at least somewhat turning it around here midway through the season with the trade value. Midway through the first season of this experiment, with the trade values being so low. Why? I mean, they don't have the same runway. They haven't given it the same length of experiment as the Pacers did with Sabonis and Turner. And And the Halliburton Fox thing was slower, and that was the surprising part. Or it was shorter, I should say. That was the surprising part, that they gave up on Halliburton that early. So
It's worked out well for both of those teams so far, though.
well, it's worked out perfectly.
I think what's lost a little bit, though, in talking about that trade and just like, wow, look at the Kings. I mean, they might have home court advantage and actually snap their playoff drought. And wow, look at the Pacers. They've surprised a lot of people, especially from the Kings side of things, is it wasn't just that, right? I mean, Sabonis has been a monster. Don't get me wrong. We were saying he might be grabbing a seat, at least at the MVP table. At least he's sort of wandering around it, seeing where he could grab a seat just for at least a couple weeks. But they made other moves. They got shooters. They went and got Herter from the Hawks here, a team we're talking about. And obviously Malik Monk, who's been one of the better six men in the league this year. Like, that was that in addition to the big move of getting Sabonis to like run the offense through there, like he's basically Jokic light in sort of like how you can use him and the stats he puts up. Is they got some shooting, so it's always like not just the deal, but it's the other things you're doing around it, and Mike Brown and all that. So I love to see it. Everybody's happy that they're lighting the beam there, and I think a lot of people are hoping the Kings snap this playoff drought, and they're a fun team to watch. They score a bunch of points, and the Pacers, like I said, they've been amazing too. But it's not as simple as like, okay, well, you just you give us one big and we'll give you one small, and then we're good. I mean, it can help. It can help. Chemistry is a fickle thing.
Yeah,
a fickle thing?
I just checked, and this post was completed on January 1st, I guess, of this year.
Oh, Happy New Year.
17 days ago, when things were a little bit more bleak for both franchises.
Yes,
Definitely
yes.
true. That's definitely true.
This season, the Hawks are streaking. They've won 3 in a row.
How about this from Ziggy and the Stream Team? Trae Young for Anthony Edwards makes both teams better. That's your Kings-Pacers trade. Who says no? Hawks trading Trae Young away for Anthony Edwards. A local product.
Local product.
Who says no?
Who says no?
I think the Wolves.
I think the Wolves also say no.
Which is wild. I mean, Anthony Edwards hasn't even made an All-Star team yet. You know, Trae Young going to conference finals. Final.
Final.
I don't want to pluralize that like Booth. And obviously having All-Star and All-NBA nods. But yeah, I mean, I love the idea. I love the idea of the Wolves giving the keys to Anthony Edwards and building around him, and whether that still involves Karl Anthony Towns being like an unbelievable supportive player, like a secondary star, it remains to be seen, or he's moved for other pieces to like build around Anthony Edwards. I think they say no though in that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think they're looking to trade D'Angelo Russell first and foremost when we're talking about 3 weeks from now. He's an expiring $33 million deal.
Yeah.
And doesn't bode well, or doesn't jive well, I guess, with Anthony Edwards taking over the team. So that's where I think their primary focus is. But that was fun. Zandrick Ellison. All right, let's get to another one here. Which player would you like to see win a ring this season? That from R2D 2002.
Wow.
Within the thread, he or she made it known that let's not talk about superstar, all-star players that you want to see win a title.
What?
You go wherever you want.
What hold on. I got to pick like an eighth man on a roster to cheer for?
At the highest 7.5, Skeets. I mean, whatever you want.
Well, okay, here's how I broke it down. I think you may hate these players, but I do like a top 75 player of all time that maybe doesn't have a ring yet. I think it would be sort of cool for some of these guys to get one at the end of their career. So a Chris Paul, a James Harden, Russell Westbrook, players of that nature. So there's that camp, but a lot of people have opinions about those players, don't like them. Okay, whatever. Then there's like the current cream of the crop MVP guys that don't have one. Like Jokic getting one would be pretty damn cool, and then would actually instantaneously become the greatest omission from the top 75 team that they've selected. Like if he were to win a third MVP in a row and actually go on to win a title this year, it would be like, oop, damn, we should have put him on there. We should have bet on him to maybe get that ring. And then the whole other way is even another superstar level is wouldn't it? I mean, maybe I think it would be cool if Curry or LeBron won another one to put them at 5, to put them to the Kobe, Duncan, Magic Johnson level, and obviously in LeBron's case, the chasing of MJ6. So I was definitely looking at this from a superstar angle. less PJ Washington winning a ring, which we would all love to see happen.
Trade target. He might be going to the Warriors. He could pick one up. I think the funniest possible ending to the season is Nikola Jokic having a better year than he had last season. Not winning MVP just because it would be the third time, and people are like, we can't do it. We can't give him a third one, but they finish. He has a better season. They have the best team. They win the title and he win Finals MVP. That would be a hilarious ending to the season. Very foolish. But the number one guy for me is Jimmy Butler. Certified playoff stud, no doubt about it. Had a 40, 13, and 11 in the NBA Finals. A little Dirk-like run where he's the most clutch player in the league. A feasible thing for Jimmy Butler come playoff time. That's a guy I'd like to see put a ring on it.
Okay.
Great picks, everybody. I did follow the Reddit rules here. I don't want to be kicked off Reddit, so I went a little bit deeper. But connecting your Nikola Jokic winning the MVP or winning his first championship leads to my guys, because DeAndre Jordan, I wouldn't mind see winning a ring, because I think every other NBA player wants to see him win a ring, because they all want him on their team. Not to play, really. Just a high five, be a locker room guy. He got to hold the bucket to splash David Adelman in his first coaching win for the Nuggets when Michael Malone was out. And connected to that, Jeff Green, also on the Nuggets.
Great one.
Guy who's
great one.
And the Nuggets would be great because there's a guy named Jack White on their roster. I think he's a two-way player, and the Nugget Nation couldn't hold me back. It wasn't awesome. Anyways, DeAndre Jordan, Jeff Green, Jack White. But the most upvotes.
I've been dreaming of seeing Jack White win a title.
Most upvotes on that post jives exactly with my pick. Ricky Rubio was upvoted the most.
Oh, wow.
Great one.
Another
That's a good one.
He's back with the Cavs. He's played a few games off the bench. He's slowly coming along. And Wesley Matthews, who I've always loved, he was a year too early and then a year too late with the Bucks. He joined the year before the Bucks won the ship, and then got back there the year after the Bucks won the ship. So those are my picks. I went role players. You described all the superstars.
Yeah.
Perfect for everybody. Jimmy's a great pick too.
Jimmy's a good one. There's because he's sort of maybe you put him into the camp of like a player that if they were to win a ring right now, like really helps a Hall of Fame case. Maybe doesn't like cement it, but along like who knows if he ever gets there or gets in, but like Lowry winning a ring, later on in his career. This has happened with other players before. Like, who currently could that like really help their chances of, getting in? Like Sean Marion winning one with the Mavericks, he may or may not make the Hall of Fame. Like Al Horford.
It would help his case.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
what I mean. I'm trying to think who else could be in that sort of
I
like
think
late.
Jimmy's
is a
different.
good-
Yeah, Jimmy's different than Horford or Sean Marion, because he would be the number one guy with a bullet. I think that would cement him.
Paul
Even though his-
George.
Same
You know,
same guy,
same,
basically. Yep.
yeah.
He's the number 2 on that team, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of votes for Damian Lillard. People would love to see get a ring. I mean, if he were to, that would be his Dirk-like
It would be.
ring if he pulled it off. Probably not this year, but in the next couple of years. Yeah. Good
All
answers.
right. Yeah, very good answers. Enough love. Let's get to the hating. This next one, we're really flipping the script here.
Okay.
Going to look at the teams we were happy to not win the title.
Wow.
So name a team you're happy to see not win a title in a particular year, I would say.
Yeah.
A particular event, perhaps. Zodiac Killer 1968. Mood Killer 1968. Zodiac Killer 1968, coming up with that one. So is there a particular team you think of?
I think you teased it on this morning's podcast, the No Dunks podcast. It was probably a popular answer. The 2010-11 Heatles not winning to Dirk's Dallas Mavericks made a lot of people happy to see them fail in that big three coming together there. The not one, the not two, the not three, the not blah, 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 blah. After that, fanfare. And to see them come up short. And, there was the mocking of Dirk within that series, and they thinking they were much better, and it appeared like they were, and then suddenly the Mavs come and steal it from them. And then they go on to win 2 more, so they were fine. The Heat did, but that's the most obvious answer. And even trying to put myself back in that time, I was definitely not upset that the Heat were losing to Dirk and the Mavs, right?
Yeah, I can't say doing the show for this long that there's been a team that I didn't want to see win, but I was quite happy
Well, I mean, you didn't want to see the 2019 Warriors
Yeah, sure.
because they were losing to our Raptors, baby.
But after those bad Raptors fans cheered when Kevin Durant went down, I was cheering for the Warriors. No, I'm just kidding. They were cheering for their play. The play going the other way. They were cheering. They weren't cheering because the guy was down. Maybe a little bit. But anyway, they shouldn't have been. The 2011 finals, yeah, that's the number one answer, I think. I think that's the clear answer after, the LeBron decision plus the 5-6-7 plus the mocking.
They had also just beaten
Dirk.
your Bulls too, right? After trailing in that series to the Derrick Rose Bulls that the Heat did in losing to the Mavs. So just more fuel to the fire of hating them at that time.
That's just the peak. It's peak karma. Like they were walking down a hallway making fun of Dirk, and then they lost the next two games, and it was done.
Yeah.
It is wild that team didn't get a chance to repeat. I know that's the Mavs. Ripping on Mark Cuban for not bringing back Tyson Chandler and Deshaun Stevenson. It is surprising. And JJ Barea, it is surprising. I went back and I was reading old articles, and he was blaming the CBA and luxury tax payments.
Yep.
Not buying it, especially after letting Steve Nash go to the Suns in 2004. You'd think he'd rectify it. It's weird. That's a weird part of NBA history, not bringing back Tyson Chandler. He's a billionaire. Cubes. Anyway, that was, I couldn't get away from that one. I didn't really have another good pick other than, the 2019 Warriors. Trey, what do you got?
What do you got? Anyone else?
2012-13 and 2013-14 Indiana Pacers.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, they lost to the Miami Heat. And if they would have won the championship, I would have said they were the most fraudulent champions in NBA history, because the only reason the Pacers even made conference finals in those 2 years is because Derrick Rose got hurt. The Pacers were never as good as the Bulls were when they had Derrick Rose, an MVP, led the league in wins in back-to-back seasons. The Pacers assumed second-best team in the Eastern Conference status because of an injury. And that's all there is to it. I can't say it any other way. Things worked out perfectly, though, because of the 13-14 Pacers. They were on top of the world. People thought Lance Stevenson should be an all-star. They did a photo shoot for GQ. And it was all over for Indiana after that one.
Good one. The only other one I have here, this is going way back, so like I was a young teen. I was like 13, 14 years old. Was like most kids that age, especially not having the Toronto Raptors to cheer for, I was a Bulls fan, a Michael Jordan fan. And so he obviously has his retirement. He's gone from the game. And because of being a Bulls fan, wasn't the biggest New York Knicks fan. And they go to the finals there in 93, 94, obviously not having MJ to have to get by. And who do they go up against? But one of my favorite players of all time, in Akeem the Dream Olajuwon. So I was definitely cheering for Houston to beat the New York Knicks in that series that went 7, right? That went to Game 7, that one. But, yeah, that's the only other one.
Nice. Great picks.
2021 Suns.
Yeah.
I had the 22 Suns as well.
The Suns hater.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, mainly.
That's the main reason. Yeah. And they got a 2-0 lead, blew it.
Did.
Yeah, I lost 4 straight to lose it.
Ugh.
Tough one.
Tough. All right.
Winners work.
Let's hear from everybody out there in the stream team. Everybody's dropping their answers right now. A team
we
that
getting some
you
Utah
were
Jazz votes in here?
happy to not win the title. No, haven't seen a lot of Jazz votes yet. The Karl Malone, John Stockton Jazz.
Oh, I meant the Gobert Mitchell Jazz.
Oh, really?
I mean, Malone Stockton didn't have a chance.
Don't you have to sort of get close to be considered in this one? That's the other part. It's like, I guess I was looking at teams that only got to the finals, but you're right. You could come up short in a conference finals.
A lot of people didn't like
round.
the Houston Rockets during the James Harden
at
his peak era. I would imagine there's some votes for that as well.
That was hot in the Reddit streets.
There's
no doubt. Yeah, all those years, the Harden years. That's about it. I anecdotally, in my brain, I always think the Jazz with the Gobert and Mitchell got to a conference finals. Got that close. They did not.
No.
Led the league in wins a couple of times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
As a 1 seed. Yeah.
All right, well, let's take our first break. When we come back, a whole lot more from NBA Reddit.
I was thinking about a scene from The Sopranos the other day. It's a flashback where young Tony is watching Livia, his mother, get all lathered up because Johnny, Tony's dad, brings home some meat. That scene pretty much played out just right in the next room last week when a delivery of ButcherBox landed on our front porch. As Rachel pulled out each item from the massive box they sent us, she got more and more excited. And I realized it hit all the things she loves. High quality meat, incredible savings. she didn't have to go to the grocery store. Those are the trifecta of horniness right there. For some reason, I got all the credit, so thank you, ButcherBox. They should do a Valentine's Day promotion. I mean, this is for New Year's, but next month, Valentine's Day.
Send your meat on Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
Works perfectly.
It does. Works like a charm. ButcherBox takes the guesswork out of finding high-quality meat and seafood you can trust. 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised crate-free, and seafood caught in the wild, humanely raised, no antibiotics, no hormones, and you get free shipping for the continental U.S. and no surprise fees. Choose from a variety of box plan options from curated to customized, and change your plan whenever you want. Enjoy a range of high-quality cuts that are hard to come by at the grocery store at an amazing value. They have exclusive member deals so you can save big on your favorite cuts. They've got recipe inspiration, guides, tips, and hacks. Some are even personalized, so you can cook up something mouth-watering. Speaking of that, Lincoln made his famous ribeyes last night right out of that ButcherBox, and they were awesome. Get the New Year bundle for free, plus $10 off whenever you sign up today. That's a 14-ounce pork tenderloin, 2 pounds of ground turkey, and 4 top sirloin steaks, all for free in your first box. Sign up today at butcherbox.com/nodunks and use code NODUNKS to claim this offer.
Do y'all think it's too late to use New Year, New Something in an ad read?
No.
New year, new possibilities, and we got a new advertiser. ShipStation. Not a dating site for pirates, ShipStation has all the answers for your e-commerce business needs. If gift returns, late deliveries, and a mountain of customer emails has you feeling stuck, ShipStation gets you unstuck faster. ShipStation lets you keep customers happy and fulfill more orders than ever, all while cutting shipping costs and managing it all from a single dashboard. ShipStation's best rates in the industry just got even better with up to 86% off USPS and UPS rates. It's not a question of if you should switch to ShipStation, but why you haven't already. Tass, why haven't you?
I don't know. I thought it was a dating site for pirates. That's why.
I know. Understandable. But ShipStation makes it easy to grow your business by handling your orders from every platform in one place. It effortlessly integrates everywhere you sell online, including Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and more. You can manage every order form from one simple dashboard, automate routine shipping tasks, print shipping labels, and easily compare rates and delivery times to optimize every shipment. And with enterprise solutions that make warehouse optimization easy, ShipStation scales when you do. Over 130,000 companies have grown their e-commerce business with ShipStation, and 98% of companies that stick with ShipStation for a year become customers for life. Make the new year your best year and grow your business with ShipStation. Use promo code NODUNKS today at ShipStation.com to sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, promo code NODUNKS for your free 60-day trial.
All right, let's get to some other NBA Reddit threads. If you are joining us live, thank you. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. If you're a podcast listener, leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. All right, what we got?
This is about the longevity of LeBron James. How long could LeBron play if he went as long as he possibly could?
It was worded interestingly.
Yeah, because
he's really laying it down. He's going as long as he can.
Yeah, this is from Acceptable Taste 912. An acceptable question, IMO, because it's all how you look at it. Do you think LeBron, he's obviously going to go on his own terms. He's never going to come off the bench, but he could if he wanted.
You don't think he will?
No.
You think LeBron, when it's all said and done at the end of his career, he doesn't have a little Vince Carter-like couple of seasons in him? No.
Nah.
I mean, no, you might be right. He's 38 now.
You know, it's funny with NBA players. They just it's below some of them, I would say, to come off the bench, and I think it would be below LeBron. I just don't think he would. He'd be one of those players. But that's fine.
But I mean, what if look? We all
did MJ come off the bench?
No, I think we
you just
all agree that LeBron I mean, he wants to still win titles and still chase the legacy of MJ. I get all that, but he also wants to play with his damn son in the NBA.
Yeah.
Maybe sons, plural. And so I guess the question I'm getting to is, if he were to fall off here, because he's still like one of the top 10 players currently in the league at age 38, still playing whatever he plays, like 35 plus minutes a game. If it meant to stick around to see his son come in the NBA, to take on a bench role, would he not do that to make it a reality? Not that he has to.
No, he won't. He won't
have to. I guess what you're saying. Well, okay.
I mean, it's basically a year and a half away.
I'm not convinced. I'm not as convinced as you that he would never, ever come off the bench.
He's too old for that. I was looking at...
Wait, but that's the way to extend it.
Yeah, no, but he doesn't have to reinvent himself here at age 40 because he's already had such a great career. You know what I mean? I look at it that way.
Okay.
He just doesn't have to go to that era, or he just doesn't have to live that way. I was reading an article about Vince Carter in 2012, and it was about actually the Cubes situation, the Mavs replacing Deshaun Stevenson with Vince Carter, essentially, who was, quote, in the ESPN article, at the end of his career, at the twilight of his career, which is crazy because he played another 8 years. But that's why Vince went to the bench, and it worked out for him. LeBron won't have to. He's playing. He's one of the top 10 players in the game.
Yeah.
His son will be drafted a year and a half from now, most likely.
Soon? Wow, jeez.
In 2024. So I doubt it. Look at it however you want. Look at this question however you want.
That's how I was looking at it. Let's say LeBron goes Vince Carter mode. At the end of his career, he goes to the bench. Vince was playing 15 minutes a game at age 43.
Right.
LeBron could easily do that at age 43, but
for sure,
in another 5 seasons, LeBron's still going to be starter quality. I do believe. He might not be MVP quality, but he'll be a starter level basketball player in 5 seasons. Vince played 8 seasons after transitioning to the bench.
Jesus.
So if LeBron did that, he could play 10 more seasons. No problem. I bet he could play till he's 50.
I think so too. If he was a bench player. I don't know when that transition would be.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think 50.
He's come off the
wild.
bench one time in his NBA career, at least according to Basketball Reference. At one game during the 07-08 season, he, for whatever reason, came off the bench. Does anyone know why? I can't recall. It might be a YouTube short in that, though. The time LeBron
came off the bench. That's not bad.
Yeah. Again,
No, I do not remember.
Says he
that.
played 75 games that year, and he started 74. So one of those games he came off the bench. How old's Tom Brady? 45?
Yes.
2 completely different sports. I mean, he's the quarterback. There's a lot of protection around that, and I get all that. He's not playing defense. So it's like, I think it's much more... If you are 45 playing at an elite level in the NBA, I do think that's more impressive, I guess, than maybe a quarterback playing to 45. But if he's done it until then, definitely LeBron could. In terms of the way they're like psycho and taking care of their bodies and all of that, and the money he puts into that. But man, I don't know. I can't believe we're going to see him play very, very, very likely, knock on wood, with barring injury, with his son or sons. And we're going to get a real Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. situation. I mean, in fact, even cooler, because LeBron will probably still be good.
Yeah.
They
could
know.
throw each other alley-oops.
How was
still.
Ken Griffey when Ken Griffey Jr. came in? He was
Ken
very old.
Ken Griffey Sr.?
Yeah. Can't imagine he was...
He's all right.
He wasn't making all-star teams, was he?
Nah.
No. Okay.
Sketching. He was shagging some flies out there.
Oh, was he? Right.
But I don't remember those teams. But baseball different. I'm glad we didn't bring up baseball. How old's the oldest baseball player who played? That's a little different.
Julio Franco?
Satchel Paige?
You can be a designated batsman and not take the field. So you kind of have to play both sides. It's not like football. You got to play both sides here in basketball, even if you give up a lot of layups. But, yeah, guaranteed, whether or not LeBron goes to the bench or not, he will be the longest tenured player, played the most seasons. Not the most games, but the most seasons in NBA history. He'll get to 23. Vince has the most with 22.
So you think then he's going to crack very easily, I guess, 40,000 points?
I guess so.
Right?
Yeah.
He's at 38,000 now. Only 2,000. He could do that. That guy can do it almost in a year. I mean, if he played all 82, he could do it in a year, but probably not now. Whew. It's wild, man. You can look at his basketball reference page. It looks like a baseball page. That's how long they look on Baseball Reference. It's just 18 All-Star, 18 All-NBA, obviously all the titles, and he's still playing 36 minutes per game. That's crazy. He's 38 years old, and it just doesn't feel like it. I mean, I'm with you, Trey. He's lost, of course, some athleticism compared to like 10 years ago, but he sure looks like one of the best players on a night-to-night basis. One of the best still in the league. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Apparently, LeBron asked to come off the bench. In the one game he ever came off the bench, he was returning from a sprained left index finger. Anderson Varejao was in the middle of a contract dispute with the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron said, "Bring me off the bench with Andy so that they don't boo him."
We got ourselves a YouTube
That's
short.
a short for you right
Jesus, cut it
bad.
and ship it, Jerome.
Not bad.
That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
Sounds like LeBron wrote that article.
Yeah, it does.
He may have.
Oh, that's good.
And also, Michael Jordan came off the bench to start his last season in his career.
That is
Right.
From Larry Hughes and Jerry Stackhouse.
That's
Larry
a
and
forgotten
Jerry.
thing.
Just
I
for
totally
15
forgot
games.
about-
He's like, what are we doing? I'm Michael Jordan. Playing for the Wizards? Me? I don't believe it.
It never happened, that's why.
It's a good call, yeah. 15 games to start that season. Totally forgot about that. Then played the other 67 as a starter. Smart guy. All right, next one here. What are your all-time worst basketball takes? Go deep in the bag of terrible takes. This is from VastArt663.
I said LeBron James would be the biggest bust in NBA history.
There were definitely some people in the thread that thought that very thing. I guess because he was
a bad
so
take.
hyped.
Yeah, I guess so.
In high school.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hype.
SI covers and his
There was some
high school games on national television.
There was some Telfair.
Can't live up to the pressure.
Some Telfair connection to that
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Same vibes.
Ooh, that's an all-time worst take right there, or an unlucky one, I guess. If you did say LeBron would be a bust, mine is, I've said it before a million times on this podcast. I thought Jason Maxiell was a blossoming star in this league. I loved the way he played. He had a great look, great nickname. He ate babies, and I specifically made a bet.
Look. He had a great look.
I think I just like the way he played more than anything.
Yeah.
A lot of cool dunks.
Yeah, he was ferocious.
He was.
ferocious.
He went hard.
I had I guess, oddly infamous bet with Tass way back in the Basketball Jones days. 16 years ago, 16 years ago, that Jason Maxiell would make an all-star team before Danny Granger. It's the weirdest bet ever made.
Yeah, looking back.
And I was high on Maxiell, and Tess like, no, Danny Granger he's a scorer. He's a better player. I'm not so sure. So that's one of my worst takes. Danny Granger turned into a very, very solid NBA player. He had a couple of years that were really, really impressive. Maxiell, not so much. And then it got so bad that he's playing overseas and he's like getting kicked out of leagues for turning into a lunatic. So that wasn't a good look for my guy either. But yeah. Anytime Jason Maxiell comes up, I get tweeted about. Hey, here's your
Does
guy.
that happen a lot?
Well, it was happening when he was going nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, that I believe.
I was getting a lot of that.
Yeah.
Was he big three in it?
He did, I believe, big three it. I think you're right.
He'd be good. He'd be good with space. Oh God! Now I'm talking myself into Jason Maxiell coming back.
I saw somebody. I was like, man, he's playing like Jason Maxiell. I forget who I thought it was.
Oh, wow.
Who does. Brandon Clark, maybe.
Okay.
He just dunks all the time.
What was Jason Maxiell's
Montrezl Harrell.
highest for
Harrell's
points
not
per
bad.
game in a season? Maxiell.
For points per game?
Yeah. What would you
12? Higher?
Not even close. You're way too high.
Really?
Why was I in love with this guy so much? He was playing limited minutes. That's why. He 7.9 points per game. In his third season, he was coming off the bench. Brandon Clark like there. In 21 minutes per game, putting up 8 and 5, a block. This guy's a beast.
All right, Trey, what is your all-time worst basketball take?
In 2014, I thought Steve Kerr was making a mistake coaching the Golden State Warriors when he had the job all sewn up with the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Whoops. Phil Jackson was the Knicks GM at the time. Steve Kerr had 0 coaching experience. Phil Jackson obviously coached Steve Kerr when he was with the Bulls. I thought that was a soft landing place, a guy who would be helpful. or that he knew in the front office. Not a lot of expectations for a pretty bad Knicks team at the time. Meanwhile, the Warriors were like a 50-win team, just waiting to see if they were going to fire Mark Jackson after they went to the playoffs. I thought that might be a little too much pressure for a guy going into his first coaching job. But I think he made the right choice on that one, because now he's one of the NBA's top 15 coaches of all time.
Wow. Steve Kerr.
Wasn't he?
He might be. I mean, won a lot of rings.
Yeah, he's got 4 rings now.
Yeah, you're talking
Steve
about...
Kerr has 9 rings, right? I think they said that at the White House the other day when he was getting introduced as a player and coach.
Yeah, that makes sense. 3 with the Bulls, 2 with the Spurs, 4 with the Warriors.
That's right.
Yeah,
9.
and he's a top 15 coach. He gave an interview to Jon Stewart about that. He said he would have been fired within 2 seasons if
With
he
the
was a
Knicks.
Knicks coach,
Yeah.
which is probably true.
Yeah.
They just cycle through him.
Yeah.
It is strange that we named the top 15 coaches along with the top 75 players, right? That was at the same time?
Yeah, we were doing all that.
Just throw them on a list.
Yeah, list them up.
15. Weird number. Not 10, not 20.
No.
Had to squeeze in a lot of the current guys, so he had to go 15, I guess. Why not 20?
Who of the
Why not-
current crop made it?
Spoelstra, I think.
Spoelstra made it.
Doc Rivers, I think, made it.
I think so.
I think so, too.
And then, of course, who we just said,
Kerr.
Kerr. That might be it.
Might be it.
I don't think, yeah.
Rick Carlisle
I don't
didn't
think
make
Rick
it.
Carlisle.
No, Rick?
No, I don't think so.
The top 15 list.
Oh, my God. That's
Top 15
Sickos.
list.
If you know that off the top of your head, wow.
All right.
What
Oh, yeah, I had
what
one,
about
too.
you?
I did have one here.
All-time worst basketball take.
Well, I don't want to say my all-time worst one because everybody knows it. Everybody knows that I called Giannis Antetokounmpo overrated in 2015.
Right.
That wasn't a bad take. It wasn't a bad take in 2015. People were paying. I'm not going to defend it again,
yeah.
but it was a good take. And it helped propel Giannis to the level he is at right now. We created some shorts about it. It worked out. All-time great take, actually. Anyway, I thought the Vince Carter deal when he was traded from the Raptors was all right.
Whoa, in the moment even, I'm not sure about that take.
I was just a gullible youngster thinking,
You like the Williams?
I don't mind it. I'm buying it. Some hardworking players. That's what we need around here. Some guys who can't really score. Just play hard because they dealt him for. Well, this is
Yeah,
peak.
let's hear it.
This is peak Vince. Vince is this is the peak of his powers. This is dunking over, through, above, around.
Oh, this is the peak of his quitting on the Raptors. Yeah.
Yeah. After a couple of months in the 2004-2005 season, he said, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Traded him to the Nets for Aaron Williams,
Right.
that lefty center-ish guy, if you remember him. Eric Williams.
Oh, yeah. Couple Williams.
Hard-working wing. The ghost of Alonzo Mourning because he never showed up in Toronto.
All right.
So maybe I was buying that as well. And a couple first-round picks. It's not terrible when you look at it from some nice rose-colored glasses.
You didn't name a single player coming back. Literally not a player.
Are you Ronaldo balking at that trade?
Is that what the
Ronaldo
pick
Bachman
was?
came over as one of the trades. It became one of the draft picks, I should say.
Okay.
And Joey Graham did.
Oh, that was a big Joey Graham guy.
Yikes!
Wow, that's
Mourning Williams's Graham, Bachman, and they traded Mourning for nothing.
yeah.
Well, they turned Ronaldo Bachman and Jalen Rose into Antonio Davis.
That's impressive.
Yeah, Ronaldo Bachman never played for the Raptors.
No.
He was a Knick right away. So that was a guy.
That's good.
Antonio Davis is a known name.
Oh yeah, but at the end of his career,
They didn't get all-star Antonio Davis.
No, didn't Antonio play 3 times for the Raps? I think he did. I think he was like 37.
Just keeps coming back. Wow, he did. You're right.
Loves Toronto.
Yeah. He said he hated
Twice.
Was it twice? He said he hated Toronto, but he loved it deep inside. Can't keep coming back, Antonio. No, he was great. Obviously, he was an all-star. Those were good times. Anyway, all right.
Dark days.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it got even worse when Vince went to the Nets and then was like, he was back to like highlight reel
baby.
Vince, 25 plus a game in his sleep.
Destroying.
And then beating the Raps every time they played. Ooh, boy.
Destroying them in an amazing fashion.
Yeah.
Hitting game winners, mocking them.
Yeah, we were there.
That was tough. All right, next one here. Which current superstar will be forgotten in 20 years? That's from Gum by Guy, 1985. So
Gum by Guy. Interesting.
Guy.
I read it as
Gumby
Gumby Guy. But it's also Gum by Guy.
That's a gum by you. Some gum by you, man.
there's always gum by that guy.
That is a tough question. which current superstar
Yeah.
will be forgotten in 20 years?
I edited it because it was a lot of which recent superstar. The actual thread is which recent superstar from the last 10 years, or which star from the last 10 years will be forgotten.
Okay.
So there was a lot of LaMarcus Aldridge. That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. You can get into the definition
superstar.
of superstar,
Yeah.
which becomes the problem, but that's fine. That's
I think the original thread was more of a star than superstar. So I took it up a notch because there was also Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad one.
Yep, that's a good one.
And Paul Millsap was there, but
Yeah, okay.
he's already forgotten about, to be honest. Unfortunately, it ain't right.
Right.
But those were the three leading the way. But I went current superstar to make it a little tougher. Yeah, instead of stars from the last decade, as Gumby guy threw out there, Aldrin, DeRozan, Millsap. Something a little more current. What do you got, Trey?
I actually think a lot of superstars do get forgotten.
That's a good point. They do.
Dominique Wilkins, all-time great, multiple All-NBA player. He's got a statue. He's on a current broadcast. You never hear the guy's name brought up. It's sad. It's honestly sad that there are so many great players, and it gets reduced to, like, if you're talking about the 80s, 90s, it's like Bird, Magic, Jordan, and the big guys.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Dame Lillard, Paul George, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's why.
Gotta win a title.
It's that's the thing. It's the title part. Like Dirk would have been, unfortunately, this if he didn't get that one. I feel like because of all those things you said about. I mean, it was Magic and Bird winning all the titles in the '80s. It was basically MJ winning all the titles, or a good majority of the titles, along with Hakeem when MJ wasn't there in the '90s. I struggled with this because I actually was like, well, hold on, let's go back 20 years. Let me see the list of like players at that time, the best players in the game, and go like, well, who's forgotten? So I ordered them by points per game. 2002-03 season. Tracy McGrady. You tell me if they're like forgotten, so to speak. Tracy McGrady.
In a way,
20
yeah.
years ago.
In a way, yeah.
In a way, yeah. I think so.
He's a Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
but still.
That's the thing. If you're Hall of Fame, are you forgotten? I guess Nick is too. But anyway, okay, Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, so no, they're not forgotten.
No.
Paul Pierce. He's always
Give it time.
Yeah.
Honestly,
got the
give
title
it time.
helped out by that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's got Celtics backers. We'll remember Paul Pierce, I do believe.
Yeah.
But other Celtics, Kevin Garnett will get a lot more notoriety from
for sure.
that team.
For sure. Okay, then Dirk, then Duncan, Kevin Garnett's there, Chris Webber.
Yep.
I think that's. I mean, he at least had the style of play, was ahead of his time type thing. You know, he sort of hangs around in the lexicon because of that. Ray Allen. And then this one, I finally got to like number 11 where I was like, oh yeah, nobody remembers this player. But to me, he wasn't a superstar. He scored 22 points per game this season. Allen Houston.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's a two-time All-Star, though. You know, he's like, that's not really a superstar, but guys could score and was an incredible shooter. I mean, put him in today's game, he'd probably be taking like 11 or 12 threes per game. He was that great, but yeah, that's where I got. I got to the Allen Houston, Stephen Marbury, Antoine Jameson, sort of Jamal Mashburn, Jerry Stackhouse type level. And so then it's like, well, yeah, who's that from today's game?
Yeah, if you'd to that level.
Like, who's today's Allen Houston?
Who is today's Allen Houston?
Yeah.
And I was just looking at the name Devin Booker, but Booker will.
Well, that's.
He'll have more
he's-
All-Stars.
Yeah,
He'll have more All-Stars, but that's a good one,
Yeah.
I think.
yeah. If he
I
doesn't.
mean, I
go on.
have sort of Mitchell and Booker
Mitchell?
together.
Mitchell. Bad, yeah.
Oh, good one.
Those are 70-point guys, so
Chris
they'll be
Middleton?
brought up. Ooh.
Cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
mean, he's
Allen
forgotten
Houston.
about now. I mean, I know he's not playing, but yeah, and he's got a title.
And he's got, see, I think the bar is actually higher. You either have to be part of the culture of the NBA. That's why Chris
Yeah.
Webber is remembered.
Yeah.
Or you have to be the best player on a championship team. I think you
So
because
right.
like Middleton will be forgotten to some degree. Paul Pierce, even though he's a Celtics legend, yeah, he's not going to be named higher than Kevin Garnett. Not really known in the not part of the culture, other than his notorious video after leaving ESPN. Like there's not really like a. You either got to be the number one, or you got to have some sort of cultural impact.
Yeah.
Like guys like Iverson, obviously, Kobe, obviously.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Do you consider John Stockton a forgotten player?
Yeah.
Guy leads the NBA all time in assists and steals by a massive margin.
I think so.
Never considered in all-time greatest point guard conversations.
On the dream team, yeah, you're right.
Nobody knew who he was in Barcelona.
He mainly just shows up for bad COVID takes.
Yeah.
Now.
That's right.
Yeah, I think so.
His son was kicking around the league, having a cup of coffee, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's different for us. Like Chris Webber has an impact on my brain forever.
Yeah.
Because I lived through it. But we're talking 20 years ago. Why would John Stockton come up? Other than the assist thing, keeps him up there right now.
Records.
But still. Yeah, I would consider him forgotten.
So Chris Paul then. Chris Paul, tons of accolades, super high on all the record boards. Kind of a throw-in best point guard ever discussions. I think John Stockton is. So I wonder what that'll be for Chris Paul, because I feel like Jason Kidd is already forgotten as a player.
Yeah.
He's a name that never comes up in best point guard ever discussions. And historically, Chris Paul is certainly going to be overshadowed by Stephen Curry, the best little guard of his generation. 4 titles, multiple MVPs. I don't know. I mean, we're sickos, so we don't forget this kind of stuff, right? We're watching it every single day.
That's a good one, man.
For real play,
like 20 years from now, where is Chris Paul's name coming up in the best point guards of all time? Obviously, I mean, if he unfortunately doesn't have a ring when it's all said and done, it's not looking like he will unless he goes somewhere, maybe teams up with somebody.
I think the first part of his career is already forgotten to some degree.
Yeah, I agree on that.
When he was considered the best point guard in the game, when he was out-dueling Darren Williams, who was there for a year in that conversation. So I totally think, I guess he'll get some fond memories about Lob City because he was the guy throwing the passes in Lob City. There's some there. There's some.
He's gonna not be forgotten. He'll go in the Hall of Fame, and he is
absolutely.
He's an elite player at that level. But 20 years from now, 25 years from now, the casual fan, I don't know if they're going to remember Chris Paul. Are you going to remember Chris Paul out there? You guys are sickos.
He's sickos. Well,
yeah,
of course.
Remember everybody.
Yeah. Tracy McGrady. We started this conversation with Tracy.
Yeah, you said Tracy McGrady forgotten. I'm not sure I agree with that. Like, people... one thing they remember, well, I guess it's similar to Dominique Wilkins. I was going to say they remember points.
Yes,
remember points above everything. But Nick scored a ton of points. He never got it done as a number one guy.
He didn't lead the league like McGrady, though. McGrady led the league twice.
Yeah.
Dominique, I think, led the league once.
Did he?
Oh, he did.
Scored.
You're right.
Yep.
You're right.
Bradley Beal, probably very Tracy McGrady-ish. A lot of points. Not a lot of postseason success. Could be a forgotten guy as well.
Lots of time for these guys to
turn it around. A lot of names
around.
out there.
Make us remember you, man. All right, let's take our final break. When we come back, a few more NBA Reddit threads.
What does it take to achieve your athletic goals? I don't know. Well, I do know one thing. I need a schedule to keep me on point. A helper helps. That's where Future comes in. It's a new way to get fully customized personal training that revolves around you. No matter what gets you moving, you'll find the guidance, motivation, and accountability to push beyond your comfort zone. Yeah, I need that too. I ain't pushing myself. This would help. Future has all of the benefits of one-on-one personal training without the 1 hour time limit. Oh, I gotta go. Personal training turns into, there's 10 minutes left on the clock. I gotta get to my next client. Gotta go. Well, no more strict schedules. Whether you need tips for sleeping well the night before, a race, or nutrition advice after setting a deadlift PR, your coach is ready to create a competitive edge wherever and whenever you're focused on fitness. And it all happens through the Future app with the tools you need to plan workouts, measure progress, and celebrate milestones. Get started with a 2-week free trial to Future at tryfuture.com/NoDunks. That's tryfuture.com/NoDunks. Cancel anytime for a full refund. That's good. Personal training made modern. Only on Future.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Here's a question for you. When are you at your best? Maybe after a good night's sleep. Maybe after spending time with friends or family. Maybe if you're like me, after a long run to help clear the mind. When you're at your best, you can do great things. But sometimes life gets you bogged down and you may feel overwhelmed. Working with a therapist can help get you closer to the best version of yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you're most prepared to take on everything that life throws at you. And man, Does life do that or what? It's always throwing things at you. Challenges, stress, failure, pain, grief. The point is, life's got a hell of an arm on it. It's like Noel and Ryan.
Chucking garlic.
Yeah, nice. Thankfully, therapy can help us sort through life's concerns, both major and minor. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. So if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And if you don't like the first one, a classic life move right there. Well, the first one wasn't perfect. No problem. At BetterHelp, you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/nodunks today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/nodunks. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I love this podcast. NBA Reddit threads. What else you got for us, T?
Couple more here. What's the best current team rivalry? Not player to player. Not which player hates the other player. Team rivalry. Do they exist? That's from 50 Aaron.
What about a player to accessory?
Excuse me?
Brooke Lopez and headbands.
Oh.
He hates possessed headbands. This is well timed because I had forgotten about this, but starting next week, we have NBA Rivals Week.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the NBA announced this in the summer?
I do remember that.
We have classic and budding rivalries between teams and players, I guess, that'll highlight NBA Rivals Week during the week of January 23rd. We got 11 nationally televised games across the 4 networks with these rival matchups. You want to hear them? You tell me if they're a real rival to you.
Hit me.
All right. The Boston Celtics and Miami Heat.
You know, I was going through the current rivalries, and I think there is some rivaling there.
That's not bad.
There's some rivaling there.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've matched up a lot in the past decade.
Yeah, in the playoffs for
Battle of LA, the Clippers and Lakers. Geographically, you basically just
Geographic
have to say
rivalry, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
How about the Brooklyn Nets and Philadelphia 76ers?
Okay. I'll accept a little spice with regards to the trade last year. And I think there's certainly a rivalry between the Brooklyn Nets players and James Harden.
Good point.
We basically heard Kyrie Irving call out James Harden saying that Harden was half
Yep.
in on last season, which is pretty funny coming from Kyrie Irving. And also certainly Philadelphia 76ers have a rivalry with Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
So I'll buy that one.
Okay.
I'm accepting of that one.
You're fine with that?
Yeah, there's definitely some vitriol there.
Okay. I believe this would be my answer to this question as a current rivalry. The Grizzlies and Warriors.
Number one rivalry in the game right now.
Yeah. Some real hatred between the two teams. In terms of like...
Interesting. I don't think they
I was
hate
asking
each
that
other.
as a question. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they hate each other. I think they respect hating each other. They're like Draymond Green hates that all of the Grizzlies talk trash, but he also loves that all the Grizzlies talk trash.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect, I feel like, between these two teams, but if they meet in a playoff series again, I think that boils over into just straight up hatred.
Does Draymond not see in the current Grizzlies some similarities to the old Warriors or when the Warriors were starting their dynasty run? Yeah, I think
of course.
there's
Yeah,
something
that's why there's that respect level. And that's why they were booked on Christmas Day against each other for that very reason.
Okay.
And yeah, they're coming for Golden State's spot. They want it.
Okay.
And that's why a lot of people don't like the Grizzlies because they have that bravado.
True.
You know, they
True.
walk with the puffy chest.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't won much yet. So I say yet because I believe. I mean, how can you not believe? They believe in themselves. I'm buying it.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they're all in the, as far as. Or are you going through more of the games?
I mean, some of them they get really funny here in a second.
Yeah, keep going. I know because I know the Bulls are on here, and it's a nasty rivalry.
The Bulls Hornets.
Yeah, Shaw.
Oh, because of Michael Jordan? Because he's the owner of the one franchise he used to play for the other.
Maybe.
What is the reason they play?
I thought the reason was sibling rivalry. Lonzo versus LaMelo. Of course, Lonzo hasn't played all
I
season.
hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that makes more sense, I guess, than...
Does it?
I mean, not much.
Kind of. Both players were out when this schedule was announced, so they're like, I don't know, maybe these two teams will rival it up against each other. Or it could be from that famous scene in The Last Dance where Michael Jordan is just so mad that B.J. Armstrong talked trash to him. How dare you, B.J. Armstrong?
Should,
for that.
I don't know if that game's in Chicago or Charlotte, but they should give the fans all bats.
That'd be cool. Bats and cigars.
Yeah. That's a weird one. Okay, how about the Maverick Suns?
Yeah.
Are we there yet as a rivalry between these two teams?
I mean, rivalry is almost not the right word for it.
No.
I don't know. I don't know what you call it. It's interesting to see them play against each other.
It's like a revenge game. Yeah, I wouldn't elevate it to the point of rivalry. I think that's too high. I think a lot of the Eastern Conference matchups, for lack of a better word, aren't rivalries either. I feel like the Eastern Conference is lacking.
Okay.
There's more in the West.
Here's one. I think I can understand what the schedule makers were at least thinking here. Grizzlies Wolves. I think they were thinking,
Grizzlies have 2 games in rivalry?
Yeah, I know. they haven't even been around all that long. Then they're thinking they play a pretty entertaining playoff series. These are 2 young teams with young superstars, and maybe that'll continue. Obviously, the Wolves make a big trade, and it hasn't gone really according to plan as of yet, but I get the thinking.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
They had a spicy playoff series last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Raptors Warriors. That's what? Yes, they played in the finals. They play twice a year.
Rivalry.
No.
I mean, no, that's
that one's pretty
that's
low
an
on
odd
the
one.
list.
Very weird.
For a year after the finals, it kind of was, but
I guess. How about the Nuggets Sixers?
Nuggets.
That's Jokic and
Big,
Embiid.
I like that.
Let's go.
I like that. That's more player versus player.
That's player versus
than a teams.
Yep. And then another, obviously based on geography, Knicks Nets.
Geography.
Yeah, no one considers it a real
At least
rivalry.
they're both decent teams right now, though.
Yeah, and then final one, one of the most epic rivalries in all of sports, history-wise, Lakers Celtics. I mean,
Classic.
Yeah,
Classic.
Can't argue with that one.
History.
Yeah,
Okay.
good. Not
bad. Honestly.
Yeah, it was like, what, 75% legit rivalries?
I thought it was going to be way worse.
Yeah.
So.
It's okay.
I think if you were flexing a game into there, unfortunately Devin Booker's hurt, but you'd throw Suns Pelicans in there. They do not like each other. They've had 4 games this season. Okay. They had the Zion Williamson dunk at the end of the game when time had expired. Then Devin Booker comes back with a 57, 58.
It was something like that.
Large. Yeah. Did the same thing at the end of the game because he was pissed. The game was over.
Yep.
And he shot a 3 from midcourt, essentially, inside midcourt. They don't like each other, and they're both, it's the Suns just trying to push off a young team like or fend off a young team like the Grizzlies going at the Warriors kind of thing. So that's a good one. I got Clippers Mavs too. I got that just for the Luka.
Yeah, he just destroys them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they hate each other.
Yeah, they play entertaining games.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Any other ones?
I mean, I think Pelicans versus Suns is a really good one that I think.
That's current.
Yeah, that's current. But yeah, no, I think they did a fairly good job. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at Bulls rivals. I'm like Bulls Knicks. It ain't the 90s anymore.
No.
Unfortunately.
Celtics Bucks is okay.
Too much respect. They got a lot of respect.
Yeah, they
for
like each other.
Yeah.
It's like the Bucks don't have a rival. That's kind of odd. Why wouldn't the Bucks are a championship team? They're at the top every year, but they don't really have a rival. Something up with the East,
Yeah, it's a good
Maybe it's
point.
because they're too respectful. Maybe it's like the Spurs. Did they ever have a rival?
The Bucks are just always
Lakers, I guess.
play wrestling with each
Suns
other
was
in
a
the
good
back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they have great vibes. Like even watching them play the Raptors last night, their bench vibes are underrated. I think overall in the league. I mean, especially with Giannis was sitting in that game, so he wasn't playing. So he's fun with his brother, of course. He's always standing up and barking away. But Javon Carter, Beauchamp, they get into it. Like they're pretty fun. Even like Drew Holiday hit a 3 and he dropped the Wesley Matthews little bow and arrow there.
Yeah, as Captain Jazz says here in the stream team, Giannis is too likable. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, so it's, sort of like Curry then too, or is Curry disliked more on the Warriors?
I think Curry is disliked more because he talks trash more and celebrates, and people honestly probably think they can push around Steph Curry, which then gets Draymond into the mix to fight back for his guy, which is how a lot of these rivalries are built. Ain't nobody trying to push around Giannis and Brook Lopez. So a little bit of a shortcoming for the Philadelphia 76ers, I would say. They need to have more rivals. Joel Embiid, great player, physical player. He should start being meaner. I think he's kind of mean in general to begin with, but he should have more rivals just that aren't trade-based, I think.
Yeah, and that rivalry, the trade-based rivalry with the Brooklyn Nets, would have been better if the Sixers showed up in that game in March, right? The Nets ran them off the table.
That's true.
March 10th, that game right after they traded that huge deal. They got punked, unfortunately, in that one. So I agree. They need better rivals.
Who's our best current podcast rival?
Great question. Man, everybody's so nice these days.
Yeah, right? I don't even know. Let us know in the stream team.
Who's our best podcast
Used to be Rappaport.
Used to be Rappaport. Oh, God.
That's a good one.
Who's the
But I like, we got to have a good one. There's got to be a good team, too, you know?
Yeah, full team. Yeah, that's a good point.
Problem is, I like a lot of these other NBA podcasts. You're right. But you tell us. Like a who?
Like an Anchorman scenario? Like we'd go
I don't want
5 in the streets?
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
Cool.
Who are we battling?
All right, last one here. Which top 75 player could you beat one-on-one today? Yeah, us. It basically was a Reddit thread thrown out to everybody. Who could you beat from the top 75? And this is from Reapson, R-E-A-P-S-E-N. I'm spelling. Yeah,
That's
sure.
a weird one.
All right, which top 75 are you taking on?
Within the original post, I think what got a lot of people fired up in the comment section here, because I actually did a hilarious deep dive on this one, and I was laughing for like an hour straight last night. The responses to people saying about particular top 75 players that they could or couldn't beat. The OP said, I think I could take Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And age is a huge part of this, but a lot of people are like, no, you couldn't. Kareem is 7'2". I mean, can still walk and move, and like he is gonna like skyhook you to death. Still, you just shoot over you every single time.
Yeah,
which is like fair. I mean, despite being an older man, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would kick our ass at basketball right now. No,
you kick my ass 100%.
Well, I think he'd kick all of our asses. I don't see how you'd stop.
Can anybody make the case that they would beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Well,
is it make it, take it, or not?
Yeah,
I mean
he can never get the ball.
I don't think even
never get the ball.
Still, what do you mean you can never get the ball?
You'd have to score every time you touch the ball.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to be as good as an NBA player. One of the greatest NBA players of all time at scoring at a clip that's going to
well, you'd have to be able to fly by him.
Yeah, you'd have to take him off the dribble, make the layup.
You're just going to have to hit jump shots. He's going to stand near the rim, and you're just going to have to hit a jumper from the free throw line. You're going to miss at some point. I don't think he's going to not score, so I thought that was very funny.
He would hook me to death. And speaking of death, the only player that I would beat are the dead ones among the top 75.
Oh, okay.
That's it. No, I wouldn't.
You don't think it'd be?
I wouldn't beat anybody alive.
Who's the oldest man alive on the top 75 list?
Oldest one I saw was Bob Cousy, 94 years old.
He's still okay. Oh, geez.
6'1".
Oh yeah, we're taking Coos.
Smack Bob Cousy.
He's 94.
If your name's Bob, it ain't going well for you against me. Bob Pettit, 90 years old. I'll take him.
A little bigger, but yeah, okay, yep.
Yeah, but still, he's
probably,
90.
He may not be. He might be in wheelchairs. I don't know.
The biggest obstacle to my Bob championship, Bob McAdoo. He's in his 70s, and he's big and muscular.
Yeah, you know.
So I'm a little worried about McAdoo. Might be a McAdon't, if you ask me. Best player I think I could beat, though, Bill Walton.
Why?
He doesn't move very well.
Yeah.
That's the main reason. Maybe I could distract him by bringing up a Grateful Dead song from 50 years ago.
I liked Michael's secret stuff, again, in the thread. Sort of thinking next level, galaxy brain thinking here. He said he could beat Kawhi one-on-one because he would challenge him on a load management day and he would have to forfeit. Just get him in a back-to-back situation. Not feeling all that well. Not feeling 100% healthy. You just have to sit and you could win. 11 zip. There
was a good reply to that Kawhi would beat you from the bench.
He'd probably still beat you. Yeah. Just grab the ball from the bench. That was a fun one. Good. I highly recommend going down the rabbit hole of that, of the responses, and just people debating whether they could beat the greatest players of all time A large part being because they're old.
That's the only reason.
The only reason.
If we're talking in their primes, I think we're going 0-76 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 76 players.
76 players.
Sometimes I forget that Kawhi is on that list.
Yeah, I know. I said that the other day on a podcast. Like, Kawhi is going to have the strangest career when it's all said and done. But he's on there. And Jokic is not.
It's all right. He deserves to be there. 7 times all defense, Kawhi. 5 All-Star, 5 All-NBA.
Oh, yeah.
2
I'm not
times
saying
Finals
Kawhi,
MVP.
Kawhi does.
Yeah, he deserves it.
It's more, I guess, people are... Was AD deserving? Was Dame deserving over other players? Yeah. All right, fun one to end with there. Which top 75 player could you beat one-on-one today? All right. Let us know, as you are right now on the stream team, who you taking and what's your reasoning. All right. Any other ones?
People are saying Jerry West.
No way, man.
He's 84, but I didn't have Jerry West on my list. I think he will be too ornery.
Yeah,
and he's probably still got the jumper. That's honestly I'm like, I want to pick big old guys.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no way they can move like I do.
Right.
And I don't move that well. I may move okay.
Jerry West would never lose.
That's
No
a thing.
way.
That's like, despite even his age, like it's like saying you're gonna step into the squared circle and beat Ric Flair. Come on, man. No, you're not. You ain't. They're gonna do everything they can to win that. They're gonna fight dirty. They're gonna play dirty. Jerry West, man, he's gonna. Yeah, no.
I
No
saw
way you're taking
him
Jerry.
on Showtime. He's angry. He's feisty.
Those are the type of answers we want to hear. Let's call it there. Another fun NBA Reddit podcast. If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube if you're a podcast listener. Thank you. Leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. Reminder, tickets are available for our No Dunks live show in Salt Lake City, Friday, February 17th at 8 p.m. at the Urban Lounge. There will be a little VIP meet and greet for those that want to get that particular ticket. So we'll do that before the actual show if you want to do that. A little pre-show meet and greet at a place called, what was it called? Blue Jeans? Jeans, G-E-N-E?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like right next door to the Urban Lounge. The names of these places.
Blue Jeans, baby.
Yeah, we'll play that at the Urban Lounge.
Salt Lake Lady.
Anyway, tickets available. It's in the YouTube description. It's in the podcast description if you want to get yourself a ticket. We'll be back tomorrow live here from the Classic Factory at 10 a.m. Eastern. And tonight, playback watch party. We'll start with the Hawks Mavericks games and then we'll bounce around. So join us tonight. Again, that link also in the description. Everything you need to know is in that description. Okay, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, there are booths available. Maybe it's just one booth because I just ordered one.
Did you?
I'm happy to be sitting in a booth. You guys do the show. I'm gonna watch from a booth.
Wow.
Looks nice and plush.
I'm going. You looked it up, eh?
Yeah.
Is it a nice booth?
Standard, Calvin. Boo. Forgotten player, Calvin Booth.
Yeah.
Come up all that
Definitely a
often.
superstar for sure. All right, brace the day, people.